The salaries of public office bearers are set to be increased by 4.1% and 3.8% in different categories. The determination has been made by President Cyril Ramaphosa and is set to come into effect on the 1st of April 2026. Now, the increase follows the recommendation by the Independent Commission for Remuneration of Public Office Bearers. The increase of 4.1% applies to judges, magistrates, traditional leaders, and members of the independent constitutional institutions. The increase of 3.8% applies to members of the National Executive, members of Parliament, members of provincial executive councils, and members of provincial legislatures. Now, for more on this discussion.
South Africans, while you wonder where the next meal will come from, while you drive past potholes that could swallow a tire, while you wonder if there's any hope left for your children, they are living in a different reality. This is not a comfortable video. This is a mirror held up to the rot. We are going to talk about the brazen theft of your future, the collapse of leadership, and the quiet, desperate struggles of millions you never hear about. We are going to talk about the exact moment when a man looked at a bag of money, a bag of your money, and said, no. And in that single act of refusal, he exposed the true moral bankruptcy of an entire political class. Strap in. This is the uncensored truth about South Africa. Let's start with that man and that bag of money. In the halls of power, a decision was made. The politicians, the very architects of our daily misery and pain, quietly voted to give themselves a massive pay rise. We're talking over 100,000 rand, more than half of South Africans earn in an entire year, while nearly a third of our workforce is jobless, while mothers skip meals to feed their children. They decided they deserved a bonus. President Cyril Ramaphosa, the man who promised a new dawn, quietly signed off on a raise for himself and other officials, ignoring the fury of a nation. But one man stood up. Pieter Groenewald, the Minister of Correctional Services, looked at that increase and rejected it. He said it would be morally wrong. He said leaders should not be personally enriching themselves while the people they serve are losing jobs and struggling to feed their families. In a parliament drowning in greed, one voice of basic human decency echoed, and the response from the people overwhelming. On social media, the comments poured in. This is the leader South Africa needs, a leader for the people, not of the people, our future president. Why? Because in a landscape of absolute moral decay, the simple act of saying no to stolen loot feels like a revolutionary act. But this isn't just about 1% pay rise. This is the symptom of a terminal disease called state capture. You've heard the term, but do you truly understand its scale? South Africa has been officially labeled the most unequal country in the world. We are number one in the world at failure. The Gini coefficient, the measure of inequality, sits at a grotesque 0.63. And this brings me to the story you are never ever allowed to talk about. The narrative is simple. The past was evil. The present is redemption. But reality is messy. While the face of poverty is overwhelmingly black, suffering has no color. There is a forgotten, marginalized minority in this country whose struggles are systemically ignored, whose poverty is politically inconvenient. White South Africans living in poverty. They exist in townships you've never heard of, in rural communities abandoned by the state. They face the same crumbling infrastructure, the raw sewage in streets, the water cuts now hitting Johannesburg and Durban. They wait in the same collapsing public health system. But to speak of their hardship is to be branded, to be shut down. Their unemployment rate has also crept up. They are the human evidence that bad governance is an equal opportunity destroyer. When a system is designed to enrich a connected elite at the top, it grinds everyone at the bottom into dust, regardless of the color of their skin. Their struggle is not a denial of our history, it is proof of our current failure. A government that can watch any of its citizens fall into despair has lost its soul. Look at the pillars of our society. Each one is crumbling. Law and order? The police are rated as a very high risk for corruption. Gangs control territories because the state cannot. The judiciary is understaffed and under-resourced. Basic services, a very high-risk sector. The electricity blackouts are a permanent feature of life, a direct result of poor administration, underinvestment, and corruption. Our ports and customs are a high risk for bribery. And our precious natural resources, our mining sector, are bled dry by illegal mining and money laundering, costing up to 10% of annual production. This systemic collapse has a direct result: the total erosion of trust. The BTI Project report states it plainly: the legitimacy of the South African state is increasingly under question. People who can afford it flee to private security, private schools, private healthcare. The social contract is broken, and the world has noticed. In 2020, we lost our investment-grade credit rating. In 2023, we were grey-listed by the global financial crime watchdog for not doing enough to stop money laundering. We are becoming a pariah state, not because of sanctions against apartheid, but because of our own elite's greed. The 2024 election was the people's scream for help. For the first time in 30 years, the ANC lost its majority. They scraped just over 40% of the vote. They were forced into a shaky, crisis-ridden government of national unity. The people had spoken. They said, enough. But has anything changed? The reports say the GNU is inherently unstable, operating in permanent crisis mode. They fight over the budget, over corruption reforms, over land. It survives not because it works, but because the alternative, a coalition with the radical fringe, is seen as worse. Is this the new dawn? A government held together by mutual fear and loathing? This is why the story of Pieter Groenewald is so explosive. It's not about party, it's about principle in an age where principle is dead. As Correctional Services Minister, he has now moved to establish a commission of inquiry into alleged corruption at Western Cape prisons. After an inmate was allegedly murdered by guards, he's demanding answers. He is acting. He is doing the job. In a cabinet of talkers, he is, it seems, a doer. This is what accountability looks like. It's not a grand speech. It's the tedious, difficult work of digging into the rot and exposing it. It's what we have been starving for. So where does that leave us, the people? Angry, helpless. But we cannot afford despair. The first act of resistance is to see the truth clearly, to reject the comfortable lies. The second is to speak. This is where you come in. If this video ignited a fire in you, do not let it go out. Smash that like button. It tells the algorithm to push this truth to more South Africans. Subscribe to this channel. We are building a community of the awake, the angry, and the determined. We will not stop investigating. We will not stop exposing. Share this video everywhere, on WhatsApp, on X.com, on Facebook. Send it to your uncle who still believes the old stories, to your friend who has given up hope. Start the argument. Break the silence. If you can, join our channel membership or use Super Thanks button. Your direct support helps a lot than you know. We are not funded by any political party or oligarch. We are funded by you. Together, we can be the voice that they cannot ignore, the spotlight that finds them in the dark. The future of South Africa will not be written in Parliament. It will be written in your living room, in your community, in your refusal to accept the unacceptable. They are betting on our silence. Let's prove them wrong. Let's take our country back.